What's wrong with Instagram? Yeah, okay. Yada yada yada. How are you doing? How are you all doing? So, I said that I was going to have conversations with us. Naija, Naija, Naija Too Muumuu, we too mumu, we too mumu. Is anybody in the UK, anybody in the US using fake iPhone 17? I want you guys to talk to me. Is there anybody in the UK or the US that is using fake iPhone 17? Why did I get iPhone 17? Because I work with it. My iPhone 16 crashed on me. I don't have an office. If I spend 3 million naira every year on iPhone, and I spend another 3 point something million naira every year on Samsung gadgets, I've spent 6 million. There is no way I can rent office for that will spend 6 million. Even if I rent the office for 6 million, will I not furnish the office? Will I not pay bills? Will I not put AC? So minimum I will spend in a year to run an office is 8 million or 10 million, unless I want to go and open office in Surulere. How does it make sense for me to be working, to be living in Lekki and be running office in Surulere? So the reason why I buy my phones is my entire work is on the phone. Once the phone battery starts to go down, once it don't reach 90%, I can't work anymore. Because if I have to be carrying charger up and down. Now, remember, I also need convenience. So, what will make me on this God's earth buy an iPhone XR? iPhone XR now waiting my daughter with the university they use. My other daughters in the university, the older ones, I bought iPhone 16. This year, before 17 came out, I bought 3 16s for my kids. I bought 3 16s. So why am I buying 16 for my children? And then I will now go and buy fake XR. Who am I posing for? Who am I posing for? Why am I going to, instead of buying fake XR, why don't I go and buy an original iPhone 14 or 13? Someone say you can go to China and change the battery. Shey you dey hear wetin you dey talk now, it makes sense. How much is ticket to China? So I will spend 12 million naira to go to China so that I can go and change a battery of 30,000 naira. Shey where they give people brain? They no allow you go there. Shey you dey hear the nonsense wey you dey talk? One thing I always tell you is keep yourself away from poor people. Sandra, how are you doing? I'm going somewhere with this thing because the latest trend now I saw is Hallelujah Challenge. Dress up like your miracle. Who did this to us? No. Don't get me wrong. I understand forward thinking. I understand putting yourself where you want to be. But dress up like your answered miracle. Is that what the Chinese people are doing? VDM went to China. He said he has not seen anybody praying. Do you know why? Because China is too busy answering the prayer points of Africa. China does not pray. Now them they answer our prayer point. China, now be Nigeria God. Some of you cannot use a brand new car in your life if not for China. Some of you, all your phones, your chargers, everything comes in from China. The power bank that is powering your phone is from China. China does not have time to pray because they are too busy answering your prayers. When you pray to God, now China the answer. China is your God. As in, China is going through a problem right now. They have reached a level where they have overdeveloped themselves. So people are trying to catch up with them. Do you think the Chinese people dress like their answered prayers? Do you think people in China now, they are joining a challenge in the middle of the night and dressing up like their answered prayers? Or they are getting up on their own 2 feet and going to answer their prayers by themselves? China is too busy being the world's largest economy to have time to sit down and do midnight challenge, and 2 million people will gather. Now. I need you to work with me today, yeah? I need to work with me. I want us to talk about stupidity. And I'm going to lean on a guy called Dietrich Bonhoeffer. I need you to Google him if you must. I studied his work. He was a theologian. They buy him because he was anti-Adolf. Remember that guy for Germany who caused plenty problem. So Bonhoeffer had some theories that went against Adolf then. I want us to talk about this. However, there's some of his work that really should be studied. One of his biggest and most important quotes is, "Stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice." Stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice. According to Bonhoeffer, the greatest threat to humanity is not evil people who intentionally do harm, but ordinary people who stop thinking for themselves. They do not mean to harm others, yet they become the silent helpers of injustice through obedience and conformity. Evil does not need evil, it needs followers. Write this thing I'm telling you. Evil does not need evil, it needs followers. And stupidity gives evil its followership. I want you, I can say this thing 15 times until I get you to hear it. I don't dey the live, boy. You dey busy. Emma Binu, you dey busy. I actually need you to listen to the beginning part and tell me what you think. I want to start now. I want to start again now. How long will it take you to get on? Okay, now, all right. I'm on already. I just said, my spirit just said you go like this kind of thing. Make I bring you on. Okay, 5 minutes. All right then. So, now my guy, I want to make you hear this thing. So, for those of you just joining, welcome everybody. How are you doing? So, what brought me to this was dress up like your miracle. I'm not saying it's anything bad, but it just reminds me of Hilda Bassi's jollof rice that pastor went to pray for, that a former vice president collaborated in a post of rice. I'm not blaming Hilda Bassi. I'm not blaming Nathaniel Bassi. I'm not blaming any of the Bassis. Poetic justice. I am wondering why it is a trend. That's what bothers me. The countries that are controlling the world today, are they dressing up like their answered prayers or miracles or whatever it is? Somebody sent it to me. I was this close to shaking for the person. Just take a look at China. Now, let me tell you a little bit about China. In 1960, China was smack dab in the middle of the Great Chinese Famine. Started in 1959 and ended in 1961, thereabout. In 1960, Nigeria was a wealthy nation. In 1960, there were 6 African countries that were richer than China. Today, China is giving aid to each of those countries. There's not one of those countries that in 1960 were richer than China that is not collecting aid from China today. And you are dressing up like your miracle? Really? Instead of you to sit down and say, what did these people do? How did they come from famine in 1960 to world power in 2025? Anything that is not in that equation, remove it from your life, including prayer. I'm not saying don't pray to God to thank God. But prayer was not in the Chinese equation from famine to world power. What did the Chinese man do? In your quiet time, can we focus on that? What the Chinese man did. It can't be that hard, can it? I was driving today. There was a Chinese car, JAC. Sorry, Mikano. Pastor Toby Adegboyega. There was a Chinese car, Mikano, driving beside a Euros. I swear, my mama no go fit tell the difference. I can tell the difference between the Euros and the Mikano because I'm a car person. China don't build motor wey look like Euros. There was one car, Chinese car, BYD. BYD used to make pants, underwear. They made a car. The car drove through ShopRite. I was in ShopRite in Burger King with my son. And everybody turned around and looked at this car like, Irumoto Wulele. We in Nigeria today, somebody sent me a link of dress up like your miracle. In 1960, China was in famine. Nigeria was rich. We had cocoa, we had granite pyramids, we had palm oil, we had rubber, we had everything. China had nothing. Today, China is giving us aid. There were 6 countries in 1960 that were richer than China. Today, every single one of those 6 African countries is collecting aid, handouts from the country they were richer than. And what we are doing is prayer. I want us to study the work, and that's why I brought us here, the work of Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Now, Dietrich Bonhoeffer was a German theologian who opposed Adolf's ideology. God bless you, Pastor Toby. And they buy him because he fight Adolf. I want you to listen to this. According to Bonhoeffer, stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice. Bonhoeffer discovered that the greatest threat to humanity is not evil people who intentionally do harm, but ordinary people who stop thinking for themselves. They do not mean to harm others, yet they become the silent helpers of injustice through obedience and conformity. Nothing breeds obedience and conformity more than religion. The only thing evil needs is followers. Evil does not need monsters, because monsters will clash. Evil needs dumb people to follow the ideology. And all you need to do is activate the ordinary man, and he will do the evil. He is not the mastermind. You just need to connect with him and make the evil look normal. There's something Albert Einstein said. He said, the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. You see, what really is, when I say evil, what comes to your mind? Adolf, Saddam Hussein. You think of cruelty, you think of hatred. But there's something that Bonhoeffer did. He brought some clarity to this. He said evil knows it is doing wrong and hides the wrong behind lies, while stupidity believes it is doing good and feels proud of its blindness. Evil knows, your pastors know, that there is no prayer that can save Africa. They know. So they hide behind lies. What makes you different from them? is because you do not know that what you are doing is bad. There's one girl, I sat down with her. I wish I could share her conversation with you. She said, Daddy Freeze, allow me to believe what I want to believe. And I sat down with her, I said, no, convince me that your belief is right. Don't tell me to allow you to believe what I can prove to you that is wrong. Why don't you prove your belief to me that it is right? That's all I need you to do. Prove it to me. Don't even prove, convince me. Give me something convincing. What ignorant people do is they swallow the lies the evil people are hiding behind. I'll take this a little further. Martin Luther King Jr. said something. He said, nothing in the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. A stupid person is not necessarily unintelligent. They are just morally and intellectually asleep. What shuts your brain down more than religion? Mention that thing. If Tinubu made one mistake, if he did 10 good things, I was watching a documentary on IMF today, and they said Nigeria should actually be commended. Now, Igbo person do more. I wish I could find it. For what they did with IMF, that they've repaid their loans, they are structuring their loans. But nobody's going to see it. Once you go to the market and fish that you bought yesterday was 50 naira, and that fish today is 100 naira, Tinubu is not working. But you will go to a church where the pastor in 2020 said that was your year, and your business was shut down for 4 months, and you will never question him. You will question Tinubu that is working, but it's not working completely, or it's not working well because of one reason or the other. But a pastor that shows zero working, you will follow, because like Martin Luther said, you will shut down your moral and the intellectual side of your brain. That is why a professor of botany will read Genesis chapter 1 and agree with the primitive people that wrote that God created the sun after he created plants. A stupid person cannot be guided by logic or truth because they have given up the ability to think clearly. That is why stupidity, not wickedness, allows injustice to grow and to spread. I'm not saying IMF is a good source, and I'm not saying Tinubu is working. But if you attacked your pastors for not working the way you attacked Tinubu, nobody go church today. At least Tinubu will show you small working. Even if the thing not they work, he will show you something. What can your pastor show you that they have done in Nigeria? Mention one thing. Any one thing. Follow. This is important. Now, if you study Bonhoeffer's work, somebody said charity work. Really? They do charity work and they wine and dine with the politicians that are causing the poverty that needs charity work. Make it make sense. They wine and dine with the people causing the poverty, and then they are doing. It's like they are bringing the sickness and they are bringing the balm. Mention one thing that we have. 10 churches on every street. We do challenge in the midnight, do prayers in the morning. One thing we have that those that don't pray and do challenges don't have. You cannot find it. Please listen and pay attention to what I'm telling you here that is more important than all this. Bonhoeffer believed that stupidity is not just lack of intelligence, but it's a moral and psychological surrender. It begins when a person chooses comfort over conscience and obedience over truth. Comfort over conscience, obedience over truth. Sing with me. Let's make a song out of this. Comfort over conscience, obedience over truth. And that's why religion is so good in pushing the narrative of obedience. God drinks tea with Nigerian pastors and he cannot tell them the solution to solve Nigeria's problem. Every year it gets worse. And the problem is not the wicked people. And this is why religion is so dangerous. It makes you stop thinking. It burns away your conscience. I want to go somewhere. Stephen King said something. He said the greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance. It is the illusion of knowledge. The greatest enemy, according to Stephen Hawking, is not ignorance. Ignorance does not know. The illusion of knowledge. When you think you know, that is when you are at your most dangerous place. Science does not have all the answers. You can sit down and punch holes in the theory of evolution. This does not make sense, this does not make sense, this does not make sense. Religion. The entire Genesis chapter 1 does not make any logical, scientific, or historical sense. It makes zero. As in, it makes no sense whatsoever. At least by the time you read Charles Darwin's Origin of Species, you can see that from the work he did on the Galapagos Islands, you can see that there is natural selection at play. He explained natural selection with the finches, and he explained natural selection. At the end of the day, you can counter it and argue with it, but there's some explanation that makes sense. Nothing in Genesis chapter 1 makes sense. Nothing. No part of it makes any iota of sense. It makes poetic sense. It's a good poetry. Anything else, there's no sense in it. In the beginning, God created the day. He created the light and the darkness. You can't create darkness because darkness is absence of light. So darkness existed and he created the light. And he called the light day and the darkness night. Then 4 days later, he created the sun. So what was light? God on the camera touchlight of his phone. That's how God created light. God, they use iPhone 17. He can on the camera down. So make everybody feel, say, hello everybody, how are you doing? Zero scientific historical logic. Zero, not 1%. According to the book of Genesis, the world is 6,000 years old. Anybody that even that's why I know they like to hear Wes Hoff. Wes Hoff go read papyrus, read, come back, still can't talk nonsense. I want you to work with me. When people stop questioning, they become tools. They believe whatever they are told, reject facts that make them uncomfortable, and they defend falsehood. as if they were sacred truths. And the problem with this type of blindness, it is never forced upon you. You choose it. The blindness of religion is never forced upon you. Maybe when you are small, they will force you to go church. Once you don't grow, now you go to defend them with your life. There's some Bible verse I want to read for you. John chapter 16, verse 2. For you be expelled from the synagogues, and the time is coming when those who buy you will think they are doing a holy service for God. Those who buy you will think they are doing a holy service for God. That is how dangerous. Look at the people who buy that girl. We go type for WhatsApp group. Something Jesus, I don't know what she type. They buy him. And in their mind, if you ask them, they will tell you say what they did was right. Somebody said Daddy Freeze, Nigerians drink Gary too much. That's why there's religious blindness. Work with me, work with me. I'm taking you somewhere. I haven't even gotten to the end. Let's study stupidity a little bit more. Stupidity grows in places where belonging to an in-group is more important than the truth. People would rather be accepted by the crowd than be right on their own. This is the hardest part. This is the hardest part of being a truth seeker. Instead of you to be right on your own, you will rather join a crowd. When Buki Shote wanted to get married, Buki Shote does not go to any other church except Free Nation. Her husband does not go to any church except Free Nation. So which church is going to marry them? I had to call Pastor Toby. He's here with us. I said, Pastor Toby, now you could conduct our wedding. Even my own wedding. Now still Pastor Toby I go meet. Say, Baba, how we go take do this thing? Because she, I go join Redeem because I won't marry. Or I will go join MFM because I won't marry. Forget marry. The next thing you now need, if you not marry finish, you don't go born picking. Where you want to do dedication. If you do dedication finish, when you buy, who go bury you? So because you have to belong to a community, you have to be accepted by a crowd. Because on your own, it is hard. How many people can live like Daddy Freeze? How many people? How many of you, if your parents buy, you go still go bring pastor? Meanwhile, there is nowhere in the entire Bible where the church was given any right whatsoever to conduct a burial. When they asked Christ, he said, let the dead, let the quiet bury the quiet. So, religion creates a need. You can't bury without them. You can't dedicate without them. You can't marry without them. So you have to belong to a group. George Orwell, who wrote Animal Farm, said something. He said, in the age of universal deceit, telling the truth becomes a revolutionary act. Let me use Bible to explain this. Now truth, John the Baptist talk, the cutting head. Now truth, Christ talk, they crucify him. Now truth, all the 12 disciples talk, they buy all of them. In a world of deceit, a truth sayer becomes a rebel. So I said, Baba, Nigerians' belief in God shows their ability to find light in darkness. This thing where you talk, they're supposed to carry you go main road, go flog. You know that kind of flogging where if they want to flog you, they will come out your shirt first before they flog you. Adete Opolo, leprosy of the brain. Where is the light that Nigerians have found? Ordinary NEPA they don't have. Which light have you found? Which light? Do you think there's anybody in Nigeria serving God? The average Nigerian serves the devil with pleasure. If we brought God and the devil and put in front of you, you will choose the devil. If they brought God and the devil 10 times a day, each of the 10 times you choose the devil. You will choose the devil. Your parents worship demons. Because if they worship God, their life cannot be like this. The country cannot be like this. Found a light in Christ. Or you mean the Jesus that they brought and gave you? Have you ever sat down to even use your brain and think about things properly? Have you? The Chinese people, they brought the same. Why come the Chinese people don't have Jesus? And they are doing well. India was colonized by the British. Singapore was colonized by the British. They accepted the knowledge of the British. They did not accept their religion. That's why the Indians are doing better than us. I want you to work with me. When individuals stop questioning their group or ideology or leader, they lose independence. They merge into a collective mind of the majority, where the personal responsibility disappears. In such an environment, stupidity thrives because people stop thinking and they just follow. They stop asking questions. In the free nation, we ask questions. I wanted to say something to somebody earlier on today. You see, I want you to understand something. My most important life's work is to free you from ignorance and consequently stupidity. Forget all this gossip that we are gossiping online. It's not my forte. This is not what I should be doing. I do it because, yes, I know it also serves its purpose. We enjoy it, we gist and all that. But let me tell you something here. Over the last 1 month, I've cut out at least 50 people. At least 50 people. Some of them I would genuinely miss because they're my friends and they added value. But it has gotten to a point where if you are not fanatical about what I'm fanatical about, me and you know get where would they go. if you are not fanatical about setting Africa free from this blindness that religion has caused. Somebody has just said something. He said, Daddy Freeze, spiritual truth, including things about the kingdom of God, can only be under Romans 11:13, can only be understood through the Holy Spirit, not through human intellect. You are presupposing that the people that wrote those things wrote it inspired by the Holy Spirit. You are presupposing that what somebody wrote in a book is true. So you are using the Bible to quote the Bible. You are using the Bible to give clarity to the Bible. Instead of using history, instead of using science, instead of using logic, you will use the Bible. But then that means that you have accepted that the Bible is the infallible word of God. And it isn't. Someone said, but we do that for other Bible verses also. Even you, Daddy Freeze, how can we choose what to believe versus what not to? Because the first thing that we believe is, first of all, the spiritual truths. What are spiritual truths? This nonsense that they taught your parents? How are they spiritual truths? You see, my problem with the Bible and Pauline Christianity is not that, my biggest problem with it is not that it is wrong. It is that people still pick and choose even from Paul's work. Paul's work was radically different from Christ's work. There are many things that Paul said that Christ did not give him the authority to say. Even the church during his time did not give him the authority to say them. But you see, if you followed Paul, at least we know that, okay, you are following Paul. You are wrong, but you're at least following something. Even that Paul, when you get there, you will pick what you want from the Paul. You will negotiate it to suit your ideology. There is no greater spirituality in this life than knowledge. That's why in the free nation, after love, because love is the only thing that conquers all, after love is knowledge. Knowledge is more powerful than demons. Knowledge is more powerful than spiritual attack. And I will prove it to you. Abiku was cured with knowledge. Abiku was a spiritual problem. Now, knowledge. What was Abiku? Infant mortality, sickle cell anemia, all those sicknesses with the pipe picking when he's small. Now be Abiku. And the moment modern medicine came and science came with hand washing, antiseptics, antibiotics, soap, infant mortality reduced drastically. The average life expectancy 200 years ago was 35. Rios factor, God bless you. Knowledge has cured the spiritual problem. And it never came back. There's no more Abiku. Immunization, God bless you, Lynn. Knowledge is the biggest, most powerful form of, because the moment you have knowledge, even demons will bow to you. I'll give you another example. Shokmono. The Yorubas worshipped smallpox as a god. The shrine is still in Ibadan till today. Smallpox. has been completely eradicated globally. What you worshipped as a god, with knowledge it was eradicated. So how can you tell me that there is a spiritual truth that is bigger than knowledge? Knowledge is the sun cannot be created 4 days after day and light was created. The knowledge is more superior than that spirituality that you have based on falsehood. We don't even want to go to leprosy. We don't want to go so many things that at one point in time. Please, guys, keep the comment section only on the topic. I'll lock it. HIV was a by sentence. Knowledge has started to solve it. Right now, if you sleep with a person who get HIV, get medicine where you go use, where you not go to catch you. Knowledge is spiritual power. When individuals stop questioning the group or a leader or ideology, they lose independence. They merge into a collective mind of the majority, where personal responsibility disappears. In such an environment, stupidity thrives because people stop thinking and simply start following. IVF, God bless you. Bonhoeffer could not have predicted social media, yet his warning fits our time perfectly. Today's stupidity is spread faster than ever through social media, online echo chambers, and digital manipulations. Do you know that pastors pay celebs to come and give testimony in church? As much as 100 million naira. As high. When you see your celebs coming to give testimony in church, just understand that a huge chunk of it is paid for. Vladimir Lenin said something. He said, a lie told often enough becomes the truth. Bonhoeffer saw stupidity as the most useful tool of tyranny. Bonhoeffer saw stupidity as the most useful tool of tyranny. Stupidity is the most important tool. Because a stupid person obeys without question, believes without evidence, and attacks anyone who challenges their beliefs. A stupid person obeys without questioning, believes without evidence, and attacks anyone who challenges their beliefs. That's the power of stupidity. Obey without questioning, believes without evidence, attacks anyone who challenges their beliefs. So it is so valuable in the hands of the wicked. Look at Nigeria today. You obey without questioning. You believe without evidence. If APC came now and said they were working, you will question them. If your pastor came and said he raised somebody from the Bai 2 days ago, in a village you don't know, you will believe it. If Tinubu came now and showed you papers and said they are working on this, you will not believe it, no matter what he shows you. But all your pastor needs to say is he raised somebody with by. Meanwhile, they not raise Mubad, they not raise Junior Pope, they not raise all the people we know we don't buy, they not raise any of them. You obey without question, believe without proof, and quarrel with anybody who questions your belief. George Carlin said something. He said, the obedient always think of themselves as virtuous rather than cowardly. I am brave. I stood up against the belief system. You're not brave. You just follow the belief system. You know some things don't add up, but you dare not question. You know that some things are not adding up, but you dare not question. You see, witches and wizards and evil people are harder to control than stupid people. That's why the government needs religion to control the stupid in their own favor. If the government wants to do something, that's why you never hear a government call out pastors. The only one that was brave enough to stop miracles on TV was Obasanjo. And I know what he went through. Stupid people are easier to control than evil ones because they believe they are doing the right thing. They became loyal defenders of the very system that exploits them. The entire life of the sheep. The sheep is afraid of the wolf, but it is the shepherd that eats the sheep. The sheep looks at the shepherd. Anytime the shepherd calls, hey, all the sheep will run. Anytime the wolf comes, all the sheep will run. At the end of the day, who they chop the sheep? Shouldn't not the wolf or the shepherd. The shepherd protects the sheep from the wolf. But now the shepherd now goes to chop the sheep. How many sheep? Maybe out of 100 sheep, wolf will chop 5. The shepherd now they chop all. Stupid people are easier to control because they believe they are doing the right thing. They become loyal defenders of the system that exploits them. Religion is the only thing you are losing, but you feel like you are winning. Your mother paid tithe all her life. Why is she broke in old age? Why does she have to depend on you to feed her? Your father paid tithe. He sowed seed. Why are you sending him feeding money? I understand if you send your father a gift. I understand if you decide to dash your parents something. But the fact that if you don't send them, they will not be able to eat, it means tithing does not work. If your parents paid tithe all their lives and you are feeding them in old age, that is a clear evidence that tithing does not work. If your parents had brought Microsoft shares and Apple shares and all those shares with the money they paid tithe with, they will still be feeding you till now. The system exploited your parents. And when your parents became too old to tithe, they were kicked out of the church. Some pastors even refused to come and bury your parents because they not get money again. They go send assistant, they go send one of the smaller pastors. Meanwhile, when your father was alive, he bought that pastor car. Power does not need to corrupt stupid people. It only needs to stop them from thinking. Bonhoeffer believed that the cure for stupidity was not intelligence, but moral courage. The true antidote is independent thinking and the willingness to face uncomfortable truths. Dare us to think for yourself. Dare to think for yourself. And to protect our minds, we must question assumptions, seek truth even when it challenges us, listen respectfully to those who disagree. Chukwu said my dad bought a generator for the church. Socrates said the unexamined life is not worth living. If you read Bonhoeffer's work, you will understand why stupidity is so dangerous. More dangerous than wickedness. Because stupidity does not understand that wickedness is wrong. Stupidity cannot examine the Bible to see that the pastor's life is not sounding like what the Bible is saying. That is stupidity. That is stupidity. And I end my message here. Nigeria is in a very delicate space and place. Nigeria is in a toxic place, a scary place, because we have refused to see the truth. How can pastors be telling you they can raise person we don't buy? And that arise girl, she buy. Are you saying the church is a scam? Why must you ask dumb questions? Inside all that I've said, is your brain battery power low? Can you plug yourself to an Oraimo charger so at least you have something in your brain? That question where you ask now. I end my message here. It was lovely hanging out with you guys. I'm going to come back later on tonight and we'll have other conversations. But just understand that I'm not passionate about coming to gossip. I can't even imagine that a sensible topic like this had 300 and something people watching. I'm not here for the gossip. We'll do it because it's entertaining and it's nice. But I'm looking for people who are fanatical about setting Nigeria free from lies and stupidity. I'm looking for those who are willing to spend their time, their money, whatever it takes to set the people free. And if you're not one of those people, just know that even my gossip, you will not listen to. God bless you, Kwabiola. Lies, stupidity, and fear. We need more topics. But you understand that I don't want to say it comes in here and goes out here. I know, Shupo. I know you are with me. You've been with me for a long time. I know the people that we have here. So, God bless you guys. Thank you so much for this. We'll gist in the evening. We'll come up with one of our topics or one of our many things that people sent me, and we'll gist. God bless you. And I'll give you more topics. Tomorrow we have our midweek service. Efe, I want you to read Bible for me tomorrow. By Henry the Great. God bless you.